Meters all the way, playing proper football, the Chef United way. Ale, 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 ale.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Chef United way. How are we all doing out there? It's almost like I saw you yesterday, or I hope I saw you yesterday. If you didn't watch that stream, go back and watch it. We also did a stream the day before. These are daily streams right now, guys. Daily streams. What more could you want from the Sheffield United way? And yesterday, you'll have seen my other Sheffield United training top. I've gone for a different flavour today. We're all purple, and I really don't think purple is my colour, but let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Now, let's get into talking about Charlton versus Sheffield United. And we've tried to change it up a little bit. We've listened to the people, which is you, and we've tried to change up the preview a little bit. So we're going to be talking more about players rather than sort of Charlton, rather than, you know, other things like referees, even though some people absolutely love the referee the referee segments. But we're going to be talking more about the predicted lineup, my predicted lineup, and of course, Connor's predicted lineup too.
Hello.
Now, hello. Sorry, I was flowing there. I didn't even introduce you, really, did I? How's it going, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very, very good, thank you. And you are in your new, let's call it a studio, shall we?
Yeah, it doubles as a studio. Primarily, it is my brother's little gaming room that he's got. But yeah, doubles as my studio when he's not here.
That's incredible. I love it. And we can see more of your face. Actually, normally we can see a lot of your face.
Yeah.
But you're normally at a weird angle, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. You're looking up at me.
Yeah. No, this is good. This is all good. Now, mate. So, you know the premise of this. I'll walk you through it. It's not going to be, I'm not going to be saying, right, Connor, throw your starting 11 at me. We're going to talk through players as we go because we had a full change, or we're expecting a full change this time. And we had a full change for the last game. So we'll get into it in a second. But I'll just quickly run through this Charlton game because it's Saturday, the 17th of January, a 3 p.m. kickoff at the Valley. You know, the state of play right now, it looks like a bit of a bottom half 6-pointer. However, the form table tells us a completely different story, as we all know. We all know what Sheffield United have been like recently. We're sitting 16, 7 wins from our last 10 games, whereas Charlton Athletic only sit 3 places below us, only 3 points below us, but they've only picked up 1 win in the last 11. Now, the table is incredibly tight. A win for us could see the Blades climb up sort of more towards mid-table, while a slip-up could see Charlton go equal on points with us, but we've got a +5 goal difference, but obviously we're playing each other. So, you know, if there's a swing of 3 goals, crazy things have happened this season or lately. We'll have to see what happens there, but I'm confident going into this game, even if, you know, we lost against Mansfield in the last game. What about you, Con?
So, if you'd have asked me this a week ago, I'd have been really, really confident. The Mansfield game doesn't mean anything to me in terms of confidence. There was 10 out of 11 changes or 9 out of 11 changes, I think it were for.
He needed 10. It was only Samare that kept his place.
Exactly. So it's nothing to do with that. It's the fact that Charlton have brought in a couple of decent players in Harry Clarke and Lyndon Dykes this week, or like the back end of last week. Harry Clarke, I'm not 100% sure if he's fit, but we know what he's like. A lot of United fans are very 50-50 on him. Some like him, some really, really dislike him. But I think
what do you think?
I think he's a good player when he's fit. It's just a case of keeping him fit, and I'm sick to death of United having players that are injured constantly. So I'm glad that we've not gone for him. But if he is fit, he will be an asset to Charlton. He's really, really good down the right-hand side. He has got a mistake in him. But in terms of what you want from a professional footballer, he is an athlete, competent with a ball. You can't really ask for too much more, especially for a team like Charlton at the minute that have just come back up from League One. Good signing, good addition. Lyndon Dykes, a lot of people don't really rate him particularly highly, but I don't like us playing against teams with big strikers, and he's a nuisance, and he can cause you issues just from his physical presence. So I'm not as confident as what I was previously, especially with us not really having much movement in the market just yet. But I am still gonna back because I'm okay. I'm okay. I think we've got enough quality to get it done.
Good, mate. Good. I'm glad. I think we have two. As we've just mentioned, Charlton aren't doing great as of yet, as of lately. But the last time we played a team that weren't doing that well were sort of Wrexham, and they've got a very, very similar style centre forward that we didn't handle very well in that game. We won't mention any names like Voldemort. We can't mention his name
They've gone on
anymore.
a fantastic run since then as well, haven't they? They've absolutely flown up table recently.
Yeah, they have. Crazy, crazy. But we're doing really well. And it feels really weird because I feel a little bit negative right now. I think I'm quite a realistic person, but I feel like we're all a little bit the same. When you've lost a game, it's the end of the world. When you go on a bit of a run, nobody can stop you. Even though we've done really well recently, that Mansfield game is just still playing on my mind. And I feel like it will play on the mind of Chris Wilder and some of the players. So I hope that was a bit of a kick up the backside to be like, you can't take any game lightly, whether that's in the league or in the cup. So looking at both sides are looking for, a bit of a bounce back. Charlton, despite them struggling to win games of football, they've recently held Blackburn to a 2-2 draw at Ewood Park. Obviously, Blackburn not doing too well, but, an away draw is always not bad, especially when you've not won many games. And also, league leaders, Coventry at home, they drew 1-1 with them. I know Coventry's gone on a little bit of a blip as of late, but, that might mean that we struggle to break them down, or we struggle to get in front and stay in front. But despite the Blades' poor showing in the Cup, I'm expecting us to bounce back with a much improved performance. And, Connor, as I'm just mentioning, a much improved performance, that takes us swiftly into talking about this video and the predicted 11. So first and foremost, before we get into talking about players, first we've got to talk about formation because Wilder's used two up front more recently. He used one up front a little bit before that, with Bamford being the lone striker, with Gus being on the left, O'Hare through the middle, and Brooks on the right. But Gus hasn't been given too much game time recently, and we have been playing with sort of Cannon and Bamford. So before we get into talking about actual players and who's going to be playing in this game, what formation do you think we go for?
I think we'll go for the diverse 4-4-2 that we've been going for recently. I think we will start with two up top. I think it's a 4-4-2 at times, and then it switches into a 4-5-1 as well, because you'll see Cannon going out wide, Gus tucking in a little bit, and Bamford obviously playing through the middle. So I do think we will switch back to that, and I think that's when we look as best. We always look the most dangerous when we're playing that formation. The pressing that we've had recently has been absolutely outstanding and just completely different to what we've experienced previously. We've not had that sort of press for a long, long time, since probably Wilder were here the first time round. We've completely changed the way that we've been playing, which it's been a joy to watch. Every single game has been exciting for the last 5 or 6 weeks. We've had goals galore. We've been playing well at West Brom aside, really, because even the Norwich game was quite exciting, even though it only finished 1-1. So I'm expecting a little bit more of the same. I think Nathan Jones' teams, we all know what they're like. They set up defensively really, really well. Hard to beat, hard to break down, work hard, maybe not full of the most talent in the team. But I don't think it's going to be a walkover. But we've got enough to get this done, surely.
Yeah, and obviously we've got two away games in 2, and going down to Southampton is going to be, obviously, it's a long way away, and that doesn't always mean that you go there and you're all lethargic because you've been stuck on a coach for however long. It's not like that these days for players. I don't know if they still fly places. They used to in the Premier League, but I'm sure if they are on a coach, it'll be a an exec coach, not like what us minions get to go on. But no, I think it's going to be.
Aren't Midnight doing something for the Southampton game? I think they're sending them down on sending some fans down on the same bus that the players have got. Is that right? Like a similar
Funny you
bus?
should mention that, Connor. Got a message from Midnight, not the other day. It was very, very didn't give us very much time to sort this out. But yours truly and Mr. Oliver Mann got invited onto
Lovely.
said Midnight coach. So big shout out to Midnight for doing that for us. So what it is, there's it's almost like we planned that. We didn't plan that then, did we?
We genuinely did not plan that. I've just come up with that off the top of my head, and that is a happy coincidence.
And it's funny that you've mentioned it because you've heard about this. I only know about this because I got an email about it. I've not seen anything about this coach other than that. But they're sending 3 coaches down there. I'll let you in behind the curtain. There's 3 former footballers: Michael Brown, Paddy Kenny, and Rob Kosluk, which will be quite cool. And I've managed to get the day off, or like half a day on Wednesday, half a day on Thursday, to go down there. Me and Ole, we're going to do a bit of a vlog style maybe, and then a bit of a video while we're down there, obviously outside the ground as we always do. But there's like quizzes on board and other things, so it sounds quite exciting. And I just wanted, when I got the email, I was like, I just kind of want to be a part of this. I don't know what to make of it, but it sounds exciting.
Good stuff. Yeah, it'd be an experience at the very least.
Yeah, exactly. And Midnight are doing a lot of things at the moment. I just had another email earlier on about something. It was a bit hush hush, so I can't really mention anything about that at the moment because there's a bit of an embargo until Monday, I think it is. And obviously we'd done the barbershop thing, which was a strange set of circumstances, but it was good nonetheless. And it's nice to see sponsors get involved with fans. And the barbershop thing was inviting fans to have the haircut for free, I believe it was. I didn't get my haircut, as you can tell. It's struggling at the moment. But some people managed to get the haircut, and some people had photos with Callum O'Hare and Michael Cooper. Actually, Gus was supposed to be one of the players down there that day, and Gus didn't end up being there, and I don't know why. Not sure.
God knows.
Could be one of anything, but no, it's really good to see Midnight getting involved with the club. Like these sponsors tend to only stay for 1 year. I don't know what Midnight's plans are, but whilst we've got them, it's great to see them doing things like this. I'm not a massive fan of gambling sites and stuff, but it's nice to see them, doing things for the community as well. So yeah, cool. Let's move on to talking about Charlton now, shall we? Because like I said, we've got 2 away games in a week, and if we can get a win against Charlton and maybe a draw against Southampton, I think I'll be pretty happy about that. What about you?
Yeah, I think 4 points from 6 for 2 tough away days. You can never complain with that. I'll be honest with you. I'd take a win and a loss. I wouldn't be too bothered with a win and a loss. It wouldn't be the end of the world for me. But 4 points, I think that's the target that you've got to set yourself, and I think that's the target that Wilder will be setting as well. If we know him well enough, I think that's what he'll be aiming for.
Yeah, and it doesn't always work out how you expect. Like, we could get a draw against Charlton and then go and beat Southampton in their own backyard. Like, it were a very, very tight game last time. Neither team particularly playing well when we went to St Mary's. Sorry, when they came to Bramall Lane. But we're going to go down there and we're going to give them hell, Con, aren't we? We're going to give them hell.
So we've not actually been able to touch on this. I've not seen you touch on it on the channel. Can we just touch on the Charlton fans when they were at Fratton Park a couple of weeks ago?
Go ahead, because I don't know this.
Have you not seen it? So
I've got
Charlton,
busy man.
Charlton played Portsmouth a couple of weeks ago. Portsmouth were 1-0 up until the 93rd, 94th minute, something like that. Charlton managed to get it back to 1-1. And they started singing "We Never Lose" at Fratton Park. So I think they'd just not lost there for 20 odd years. Portsmouth went up the other end from kickoff, 2-1, 2-1, finished it. It was the Korean lad that's just gone on loan to Coventry that scored it, I think, to just send it absolutely mental, limbs all over the place. It's bouncing day all over again. That's all it reminded me of. It just reminded me of Wednesday fans with a bounce, and then obviously Duffy silencing every single one of them. It was great. Brought back some great memories.
Yeah, because someone were vlogging at the time, weren't they? And their face was an absolute picture when that happened. Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
That was magical.
Yeah,
and I'd not even put
really
two and two together with the old bouncing day, because you don't see many of those like incredible moments, do you? The timing of it is just
No.
glorious.
Yeah,
I hope that
absolutely
never
fantastic.
happens to us.
Oh, no.
Do you know what? One thing I will tell you one thing. It must have been Oldham when Chef Kikuchi played for Oldham. So back in the day when Facebook was all the rage and people, that's the only social media channel that most people used. I remember, I think one of the seasons when we were battering everyone week in, week out, we were at Bramall Lane, and I was sat there and I put a Facebook post up saying, "Oh, this is way too easy. We were like 2-0 up or something like that. It's like we were coasting." And then I think Chef Kikuchi scored like 2 goals or something like that. And Wednesday fans had my life for it. But that's what football's all about. You've got to. I've done a few of those gaffes in the past on Twitter, and I normally get hammered for it. But no, it's all fun and games. That's what football's all about. At the end of the day, you've got to be able to give it, and you've got to be able to take it, haven't you?
I did it with playoff final this year. I tweeted when Burrows' disallowed goal went in. See you later, Championship. Welcome back to the Premier League, Blade. Something like that. Goal got disallowed, and we all know how that ended. So
did you delete it straight away, or did you
no,
leave it?
it's still on there somewhere. You'll be able to go and see it. But I ended up ghosting Twitter for probably about 5 or 6 weeks after that. I weren't seen for quite a long time.
Love that. Well, I don't. I hate that. That's horrible. But yeah, a little bit funny at the same time. Now let's get into talking about these players. So first up, we've got goalkeeper, and I think we all know who's going to feature in this goal. However, we all know that Michael Cooper has got an injury, if not multiple injuries, and he's just getting through games right now. It's been well documented in quite a few places. Adam Davies obviously played against Mansfield. I don't think any of us really feel super confident with Davies. However, I don't think maybe one goal was his fault against Mansfield. I think the one where he got beaten at his front post, but it's still a one-on-one from close range. So I don't think Adam Davies.
I think he should have saved the first one as well. Like, I've looked at the goal back. If you look at the goal back, it looks brilliant on the first replay. It looks unbelievable, and I was like, "What a goal!" And I watched it back, and it's nowhere near the corner. It is nowhere near the corner. It's a clean, absolutely nowhere near.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, mate. I have not watched that game back, and I will not watch that game back. So I will take your word for it. But I did say on my match reaction that I didn't enjoy that goal going in, but the fact that it was Louis Reed, it's nice to see. Because I remember back in the day when Louis Reed was at United, it's like, oh my God, we've got this great central midfielder, never gives the ball away before Paul Coots. And we thought we got a really good young player. And since then, the amount of players that have come through the ranks that are a million times better than Louis Reed, and he could have easily fallen down the leagues and fallen into non-league, but he's had a really, really decent career.
Yeah, he has. He stayed in the Football League for quite a long time. He's got a good manager with Nigel Clough now. He's at a decent club in Mansfield, and I've got to give their fans some plaudits as well. They brought a really, really good travelling up, and they deserved it. Loud all game. And but yeah, I'm happy for him. I always want to see academy lads do well, whether it's at the club or outside of the club. It's always good to see them have a solid career.
Yeah, 100%, mate. So yeah, let's talk about this goalkeeping spot then. I reckon it's obviously going to be Michael Cooper. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case going forward, because if he is injured, if he does need some sort of I don't know, surgery or something, we need to bring in a backup keeper. I can't see Adam Davis playing more than one or two matches. Luke Faxon hasn't, I don't think he's even been given one shot in goal. Obviously, Jordan Amissa had maybe one or two. I don't think Luke Faxon's been given a game even in cup competitions. So I expect him to go out on loan and maybe bring in another keeper. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think that'll be the plan. If it's not now, I think it'll definitely be the summer because Adam Davis is out of contract, and if we tie him down again, I am going to have to start asking serious questions on what's going on because seems like a nice bloke, but he is nowhere near what we need for championship level. I don't feel confident. If you've got a team like Mansfield that where are they in League One? Are they mid to lower table?
They were 12th. They were 12th. Well,
12th,
they
so
still are 12th
bang
because it wasn't a
mid-table.
league game.
Bang
Yeah.
mid-table. So bang mid-table in League One. Nothing wrong with that, but we should be beating teams comfortably and be able to implement a game plan. But Mansfield adapted to it straight away and just started shooting on sight from anywhere because they knew that Adam Davis was in goal. And what I've noticed about Adam Davis with his one-on-ones and stuff, he's not usually too bad, but shots from distance, he gets nowhere near it. He can't dive down quick enough or anything like that. So we can't be relying on a goalkeeper like that moving forward. So I do think we will bring one in, whether it's this window or the summer, and we can put this terrible backup goalkeeper era behind us, hopefully.
Well, he's not even like he's a really old goal. He's 33, which should really be in his prime. That's a good age for a goalkeeper.
Yeah, it is.
But he's just been a backup goalkeeper for such a long time. So
Yeah.
what do you expect from a man that gets brought in when the chips are down? All the fans are, dreading him going in goal. It's just not a nice. I don't know. He's been given a bit of a Scott Carson role, and probably a little bit more than a Scott Carson role. So he's getting money for not a lot really, but he has had a few games where he's had to come in. But yeah, absolutely, we need to bring somebody else in. I love that. I love that from Scott. Bring back Gerbich. Do you know then when I saw his name, I was like, how do you say? I forgot how to say his name for a second because it's been that long since we've actually spoken about him.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Gerbich is ever going to play the Sheffield United shirt again, but stranger things haven't happened. Yeah, let's move into the next one because goalkeeper, I think we all expect Michael Cooper to be playing there. Femi Sarike, Keanu Hoover. I think it's obvious that if Femi Sariki is fit, which I think we all thought that he picked up a bit of a knock. It was reported that he picked up a knock and then he came on against Mansfield. So, we're expecting Femi in there, aren't we? I think that Keanu at the moment's a little bit of a backup.
I'm not 100% sure because of what Wilder said about him after the Mansfield game. He singled him and Andre Brooks out specifically for lack of impact off the bench, which I think was a little bit unjustified. I understand they weren't at the best, but none of them were. So I don't know why the criticism was specified towards them, but I think he'll play Hoover on Saturday. I really do. I think he'll start Hoover.
Really? Yeah. I like that only because that throws some cat amongst the pigeons here because I was expecting us both to agree on Femi Sarike, and I want Femi Sarike to play in this game. I actually think that Femi Sarike wasn't bad. I wonder whether he's doing that to deflect from the players that did start the game, or maybe Hoover, because he wasn't great in the game. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. He was, caught out of position a couple of times defensively and didn't really offer a lot going forward. But he's not played a load of games in the last sort of couple of years, so I didn't expect him to be anything spectacular. But one thing that I will say, before Wilder said it, I was thinking to myself, Andre Brooks just wanted to play wherever he wanted to play. I liked the fact that he was trying to make things happen, but we were sat on family stand. It's the first time I sat on family stand for a while, just because, it's a cup game, sit wherever you want. And I quite enjoyed it and taking my little boy on family stand. but he was supposed to play on the opposite side, and he was near us. And my son
Yeah.
loves Andre Brooks. He goes on about him all the time, and he loved that he was over our side so he could see him. But he shouldn't have been there. Like, what were he doing?
Well, that's what Wilder can do. Then Wilder can blame Louis moving forward, can't he? So
Yeah. Wilder knew that Louis needed to see him close up.
Exactly. There you go. So it's Louis' fault. Brooksy knew that he wanted to see him up close. So hashtag blame Louis.
Well, he should have told Callum O'Hare that, because he loves Callum O'Hare the most. And I was looking around for him because we got into the ground a little bit later than what we expected. And before I saw the starting, I saw the starting lineup, but I didn't have a look on the bench. I just assumed that Callum O'Hare would be on the bench. And then when I was looking around, I'm like, where is Callum O'Hare? And I'm like, oh God, he's not playing. Do we pretend that he is like on the bench somewhere and he didn't get on, or do we just tell him that he's not even on the bench? But he was devastated. He was gutted that he didn't get to see Callum O'Hare, but it's what it is. So yeah, I love that we don't agree on the first one. The second one, Sam McCallum or Harrison Burrows?
McCallum, definitely. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Harrison Burrows has been a shell of the player that he were last season. I don't know what it is that's going on there particularly. I don't know, but if it's my choice, and pretty sure Wilder's going to go down the same route, it's got to be McCallum. McCallum's been absolutely fantastic so far this season.
Yeah, he didn't even pull any trees up against Mansfield either, did he, Burrows?
No.
And what I did notice from the second half, him being on our side, was that every time he got the ball, he just blindly tried to put a cross in, and the man in front of him just jumped and blocked it. I think it was like 3 times within about a few minutes, and I'm like, you've got to change something up. You've got to do something a little bit different. But I'm completely with you, mate. It's got to be Sam McCallum at left back. He's been so good this season, and I never thought I would see the day. Not that Sam McCallum's bad, but I never thought I'd see the day where he dispossesses Harrison Burrows and he is our number one. It shows the decline of Burrows.
I didn't think he would going to be any good for us, to be honest with you. I had him in the sort of same bracket that I have Adam Davis in terms of he's just there to make up the numbers, and if Burrows gets injured, he might get a couple of games until he's fit. But he's come on leaps and bounds this season. He's completely changed the way that he goes about things. He's been really, really good defensively compared to Burrows. He offers you the same threat going forward, in my opinion. Yeah, potentially. But he offers you the same threat going forward, in my opinion. He's a lot more athletic than Harrison Burrows is in terms of his pace, jumping, everything. He's really, really impressed with this season. It goes to show a lot about his mentality, that he can go from being frozen out for the majority of last season, or coming on for 10, 15 minutes every now and again, starting a game every now and again, to pretty much being a stalwart in the team this season. It shows a lot about his character, and I've been really, really impressed with him.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Now we've got to the first position, because I've written these down as kind of like there's 3 players for this position, 3 for this, 2 for this. I've only got 3 positions where I've got nobody next to that player, because they have to play in this game. And the first one is Japhet Tanganga. Like, he's our captain. He is the player that needs to start every game. He's, obviously a big lad. He's dominant in the air and on the ground. He's a good passer of the ball. And, he's a great leader, and it seems like he's a great leader. So, yeah, I think we're both agreeing on Japhet Tanganga. It's just who's next to him, isn't it?
It's got to be Bindon for me. Got to be. I'm not a massive fan of Tyler Bindon, and I don't think he's as good as some people potentially think he is, because I don't think he's physically developed enough to be playing in the Championship week in and week out and be an absolute stalwart. But out of the centre halves that we've got to pick from at the moment, after Ben Mee's performance against Mansfield, it's got to be Bindon, because he has one good game and one average to bad game, but you can't risk Ben Mee after that absolutely dreadful performance on Sunday. Or McGuinness can't be in that conversation either. You've got to give it back to Tyler Bindon, and I think Is Binden's last recall day today? So yeah, if Forest don't call him back today, he's staying. He'll play. I think he'll play because he has come on a lot. And again, had a really shocking start to the season, like all the team did. He's come back and made a statement since he's come back. So I've got to give him some kudos for that. Even if I don't think he's as good of a player as some people rate him, he's definitely got character to be able to come back from that as a young lad and get himself back into the team and playing games.
Yeah, agreed. I just wanted to bring this up on screen because it's Chariots of Wire says Burrows hasn't been right all season. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, the substitute appearance at Blackburn is the best he's played. And I gotta say, I went to that game and he was phenomenal when he came on. Everything he did turned to gold. And I thought after that game, he's won his position back. And unfortunately, he didn't carry on in that vein of form. But yeah, so there's obviously, we've just talked about Bindon, me, and McGuinness. I actually think that if Ben Mee would have had a decent game against Mansfield, potentially could have come straight back in, but he did have a shocker. He's a slow centre back. He is a slow centre back, and there are a couple of moments where I think it's just not match fitness, but match sharpness that he got caught out. But he will get caught out by pace, Ben Mee, throughout this season, and next season if we keep him on. But Tyler Binder, I think it would have been harsh kicking him out of the team for me, even if Mee would have had a good game against Mansfield. Let's move on to defensive midfield. This is another position where I've only got one player for, and it's Jairo Riedewald, isn't it?
100% brilliant. Wilder using the free agent market again. Absolute masterclass. Been fantastic. He's nailed this position down. Whenever he's fit, he's going to play.
Yeah, definitely. I found it quite funny that the two players that Wilder brought in on a short-term deal have been two of the best players that we've brought in all window, and two of the best players in the whole squad, which is hilarious because then we have to tie him down to a longer contract and probably pay him a lot more. So I think it would have been an absolute, backwards pass or a forwards pass, whatever you call it in rugby, maybe a forward pass. If we'd have lost either, Riedewald or Bamford, because I'm sure they were both touch and go at one point because, they both played really, really well since they've come in. So other suitors would have been circling, I'm sure. But
can I just touch on that for a second? I think you've got to look at us being able to nail that caliber of player down to an extended contract as a massive positive. And clearly they see the club going in a direction that maybe we can't see from the outside, because Jairo Riedewald is a quality player and will have had interest from other clubs. Patrick Bamford, 110% had interest from other clubs. Could have gone elsewhere, maybe with a better project from the outside, but clearly the board, Wilder, the executives who have been talking to him about his contract, or both of their contracts, have given them something to look forward to. Even if it's not this season, let's say we miss out on the playoffs, there's clearly a plan there that the players have definitely jumped on board with, because it's not like we were their only option and they didn't have the choice to go anywhere else. They had the choice, but they've decided to stay.
Do you think that could be money oriented? I know we're not going to pay the best wages, but do you think that could have been a little bit of we can't afford to lose these two players. Let's give them way more than what we either value them at or should really give them.
Jairo had interest from Saudi. So I think
we've got more money than Saudi clubs. What are you on about?
Of course, yeah, absolutely love it. So I think you can rule that one out for Jairo. Bamford, maybe. We know that he's been on massive wages at Leeds previously. Maybe we have given him a bit of a bumper deal. I don't know the details of the deal. I don't know how much he's on. I'm not interested because he's been fantastic since he's come in, and pay him what he wants. But I think going on to Bamford, I think there is definitely something there about him. He's made his ambitions known about himself, wanting to play in the Premier League again. And he wasn't ready to go to the MLS. He said that he had interest from he called, this was his words, not mine, retirement leagues, and he said that he wasn't ready for that just yet. So
Did he say that?
yeah, he said retirement leagues. So he's not ready for that sort of football just yet, and he's made it known that he does want to play in the Premier League again. I heard that when he did his interview the other
Yeah.
day about his extension. So why would he stick around here if that's not the ultimate goal for the board and the owners? They've reiterated that point a couple of times, and yeah, they've made mistakes, but clearly they are trying to rectify those mistakes. So, and if the players are on board with that, I think a little bit of the panic can be put on the back burner a bit for now.
Yeah, and you need to keep these players together as well
100%.
because I did a bit of an interview on Talksport 2 earlier on, and they were asking about the transfer window, and straight away I was like, we need to make sure we don't just go out there and sign 5, 6, 7 players just for the sake of it, because this team are playing well together. We don't want to rock the boat here. We need to make sure if we're bringing some players in, one, they're going to fit the sort of culture of the club and I suppose the team as well. They need to fit in. They can't be bad apples, and they need to also improve the team, either back up or improve the team.
Agree.
Because right now we're flying, and we need to keep on flying, and we don't want to do anything to do, to rock the boat. Next up, we're looking at the player next to Jairo Riedewald. And I think Wilder came out and said that Peck will be fit for this game. However, Wilder said that a lot of times this season, and that's not come to fruition. So I'm not going to put much stock in Sidney Peck playing in this game. Dribble Sumare, I think he was actually one of the only players that, especially in the first half against Mansfield, was looking like he was trying to progress the ball and, try and find those diagonal balls and, try and find a way through that Mansfield midfield and defence. And then we've got Ollie Arblaster in there. I'm not even going to talk about Alex Matos. Or I suppose there's Tom Davies in there. I've not even thought about Tom Davies, but he was back for the last game against Mansfield. He won't start in this game for me, but he's an option off the bench too. So who do you think is going to be playing next to Jairo?
I think it's got to be Sumare from what we've seen so far. I know the both left-footed, deep-lying midfielders, but he's been really, when he's good, he is absolutely awesome. Don't get me wrong, he does have some off games, but I'd rather start him and have Arblaster, Davis coming off the bench, and potentially Sidney Peck. Peck could potentially be on the bench available for 10, 15, 20 minutes. So you've got to go Sumare, because when he's on it and when he's at it, he is a big part of the reason why we are pressing as well as what we are. Because I've never seen somebody chain tackles together as well as what Jibril Sumare does. He tackles one player, then he gets to 2, then he gets to 3, and then it's 4. He chains his tackles together. He never gives up on the ball, and I really, really like him. I think there's a really, really good player in there. I really do.
Yeah, he just needs a good manager and coaching staff to get the best out of him, because I think we've had a lot of players in the past that you've looked at him and thought, do you know what? That player's got absolutely everything to reach the top or near the top, but they don't always put it all together. So hopefully he does, and hopefully it's with Sheffield United, because, he's not our player. He will be going back to his parent club at the end of the season, but it's good that at least one lone player we're not looking at sending back, because it felt like most of them were going back at one point. Obviously, Tyler Binden's changed his situation. Ogbene still injured. I don't know what's happening with that one. I don't know if you've got any idea about that one.
So he is back training. I know he's back training, but I don't know how long that could be. The amount of times that I've heard, he's back on grass. I heard that about Arblaster, like when we went to Portugal during summer. No, Girona during summer. Were it Girona we went to? Girona.
We have been to Girona. Yes, I believe it was. Yeah, we'll say yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to be back on grass at that point, and then he still didn't end up coming back until November. So it could be a case of Benny's back for April. He could be back for this weekend, for all I know. But I'll be honest with you, I've given up on that Chio Benny loan. I think If we can, you've got to terminate him, in my opinion, and bring somebody else in. It's just not worked out for him. Really, really lovely guy, and fair play to him for giving it a go, but it's not being a good fit.
Just to confirm, terminate the loan, not terminate him.
Oh no, not terminate him. Like I said, really, really nice guy. We don't want to send Arnie after him.
No.
Yeah, he's been. Like I said, he seems like a really nice guy, and I wanted him to succeed. I was really excited when we managed to bring him in, but he seems like he's lost a significant amount of his pace compared to what he used to have previously. And when pacey players start to lose their legs, it's difficult.
Yeah, Michael Owen's always the one that I go to when, because he was a great finisher, but he was a bit of a pace merchant, and once he lost it, he struggled to strengthen other parts of his game. Ogbene, I'm going to just say one last thing about Ogbene before we move on, because never say never, because we all thought Tyler Bindon was gone. Ogbene, I watched him playing for Ireland, and I quite liked him as like a I think he was playing as kind of like a second striker
Number 9.
on the left. Yeah, and you never know. You never know. Crazy things have happened. We might end up going to like a kind of a front three, if you like, with one playing through the middle, and he might come off the left. You just never know. It looks like he's been, predominantly played for us on the right, but now we're going back to the kind of inverted wingers. You never know. He might come off the left, and he might be really good. Gus Harmer, we're going to talk about him in a second, but Gus has played on that left, and if Gus leaves, that is a little hole. Well, a little hole because he's a little man, but a big hole for Sheffield United. Obviously, right now he's not playing too many games. But let's talk about that left-hand side. I've got left-hand side, right-hand side, and through the middle. So the reason why I've done that is just to cover all bases. So on that left-hand side, we've got Callum O'Hare, Gus Harmer, and Cheo Ogbene have popped in there. There's no point talking about him. But do you see Harmer and O'Hare playing together much in the next kind of month?
I think they will on Saturday. I think we'll play both of them. I don't want to sound too not negative potentially, because I know there's quite a few fans that are in the camp of wanting to get rid of Gus at this point, which I find mind-boggling personally. I think he's fantastic, but I think it's a case of we've got to make the most of Gus while he's here, because it's a big possibility that he could be gone by the end of this window. So while ever he's here, he's one of the highest earners at the club. He's got to play for me. He is the best player at the club. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody's argument is.
I think we all agree.
Yeah,
I think we all agree that technically he is the best player at the club. He's just not playing at the top of his game right now, is he?
No, he's not at the top of his game, but I don't think he's playing half as badly as what other people are making him out to be either. He's still putting numbers up. He's still doing what I think he's got 5 goal contributions in 10, 11 games since he's come back from injury, which is, for any other player, we're saying, okay, that's a good return. But for Gus, we are saying, oh, it's the end of the world. He's out of form. He's miles off it. By his own standards, yeah, he absolutely is. But I also think a big issue is when Gus is playing, the other players in the team know that he is the best player in the team. So they try and put everything through him. They're trying to give him the ball constantly to make things happen, because they know when he's at his best, he can do it. But I also think we need to look down other avenues. Callum O'Hare's been fantastic this season. Give the ball to him more when him and Gus are on the pitch. Let them do their thing, link up with each other. Get it into Bamford. Let Gus play off of Bamford. We've got a target number 9. Instead of playing it to Gus to play it into Bamford, play it into Bamford. Let Gus play off of Bamford instead. There's, but I don't know whether that's a mentality issue or not, because they know he's the best player at the club. But he has got to play for me on Saturday, and I want to see him play, because we might not have him for much longer.
Yeah. I think this is the first time where we've got into a transfer window, and we're always begging people not to sign Gus, or not United not to let him go. This is the first time where I'm actually looking at it and thinking we could do not that I want to do without him, but we could do without him. Every other time, it's like it would be the end of the world if we let Gus go. This time, other players are playing well round him. We're playing, a different way. Probably doesn't always help Gus's game, but I don't want to see him go. I want to see him play as much as possible. I liken it to a few years back, obviously a hugely different level, but when Jamie Murphy left United, absolutely everything went through Jamie Murphy. He created practically every goal or scored every goal. And when we sold him to Brighton, I was like, I just don't know what we're going to do now. And we recovered and we ended up getting to the Premier League. So, football's football. Like, we all move on. But let's move on to the right-hand side. We've got Andre Brooks. We've got Tahith Chong. Even though Andre Brooks got hammered by Wilder, I still see him playing in this game because I thought Tahith Chong was quite wasteful, actually, against Mansfield.
Yeah, it's got to be Brooks for me. I know I'm going to counter my own point that I made earlier because he did call out Brooks and Sariki as a two rather than individually or just Sariki. I think you've got to play Andre Brooks because Tahith Chong, he was arguably the worst player on the pitch on Sunday, and he was the worst player on the pitch in my opinion. Ben Mee was a very, very close second, but he just couldn't make anything happen. He keeps hold of the ball a little bit too long, especially against League One opposition. You know that you need to be moving the ball around quickly. Yes, Scott, we know you absolutely love Sancho Hansen, and we all know my love affair with Oliver Antman. So, but yeah, I can't see Chong starting on Saturday after his performance against Mansfield. I'd be very, very surprised. And Brooks has come into his own this season, in my opinion. I think he's been really, really good. So
yeah, completely agree, mate. Let's move on to the strike force. I think you alluded to earlier that you think we're going to go to up top, and I completely agree. And I actually think what David Vinters said, Bamford and Cannon are the shoo-ins up top. I don't think there's much of an argument right now, which I never thought I would say. Looking at the strike force, we've got 4 strikers that are loosely say vying for those 2 spots. Tom Cannon, he's not been brilliant for the Blades in the past. He's finally started to show his worth, and he's finally started to show us how he was playing at Stoke. But is that because he's playing next to Bamford, and Bamford is very, very good at football?
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the reasons. I think the other reason is his work rate has just gone through the roof in the last couple of months. He's gone from being your typical number 9 that's trying to make a couple of runs through the middle, maybe mistiming a run every now and again, floating out wide, but not being used effectively. Now, when he's not got the ball and when we are pressing, he's one of the main men that are leading the press. He's charging people down. He's causing problems. I think against Leicester, he forced the corner for Jaff's goal. Just for what? I think he chased the ball down for the corner that led to Jaff's goal, and it was literally a lost cause that he was chasing. So he's gone from not being a lazy number 9, but being a typical number 9 to someone that's just working really, really hard. I think his fitness has improved massively. He's leading the press, leading the charge, looking up and trying to actually make things happen rather than being scared of making a mistake now as well. Because I always seen him stuttering and second guessing himself quite a lot. He doesn't seem to do that as much anymore. And I was one of Tom Cannon's biggest criticizers at one point as well. So for me to be saying that, he has definitely impressed me recently, because I wanted to see the back of Tom Cannon this window, but now he's a massive part of the team. Really, really big part of the team.
Yeah, such sliding doors moments, because if it wasn't for that, we probably would have seen more of Campbell. And, he might have got back into playing how he was last season. And Scott's made a really good point. It's kind of looking better because of the decline of Campbell, because last season, and even at the start of this season, obviously because of last season, and scoring at Wembley as well, Campbell seemed like a big time player. He always scored in the big moments. He scored against Wednesday as well, that got us off and running. I'm not writing Campbell off in the slightest. Yes, he looks a bit leggy, and yes, he looks like he can't be bothered sometimes. But that's not to say he's not bothered. And I'm sure he will be bothered, and I'm sure he loves being here and doesn't want to leave Sheffield United. So he does need to pull his finger out, because for me, even though I think that Patrick Bamford is more intelligent than any of the other strikers we've got, and he's probably a better footballer than anybody else that we've got, Campbell just offers you not more, but he's a different profile of striker. Believe it or not, I think he's one of the fastest players at the club, if not the fastest, when he gets moving and motoring. He's a great finisher. And I love Tyrese Campbell. And I'm really, really disappointed how poor he's been in the last few weeks, maybe month or so. What about you?
He's another one that looks a shell of himself since maybe even Bristol opening day, because he looked good on the opening day against Bristol. I thought he looked lively, he looked fit, and he took his chance really, really well when it came up. But I agree with what most people are saying about him. He looks disinterested. He was pressing quite a lot last season. He was always running about, causing problems, making the back line think. And that's why he was usually knackered after 60 minutes and had to come off. Now, he's a 90-minute player, but he's pretty much a passenger for 90 minutes. What would you rather have? Would you rather have someone that's really, really good for 60 minutes and causes problems, or a passenger for 90 minutes that does nothing? So,
do you think that's Wilder telling him to press less so that he can get more out of him? Because maybe we've hit on something there, that it could be a game plan that's just not panned out, and then Bamford's come in, hit the ground running. It's like, well, I don't fancy you anymore. I was working on you. Now I've moved on to Bamford now.
I'm not sure. I don't think so, because you look at the rest of the team. The rest of the team have been pressing like dogs recently in these last couple of weeks. So why would you go from someone that he weren't the best presser in the team last season, but he was doing his job? Why would you take that asset away from somebody and turn them into a 90-minute player, and then all of a sudden drop them on the bench, especially when you're getting everybody to press a lot more than what we did last season in general? So I don't know. I think if you take Tyrese Campbell of last season and you put him into this team, he's a perfect mold. So what has changed? What has gone wrong? What has happened for him to turn into the player that he has been this season? Is there something going off behind the scenes? I don't know. It's the curious case of Tyrese Campbell.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Like, we've interviewed a few players on this channel, and a few of them have actually said things of going on in their personal life does affect them on the pitch. And I never want to give people too much stick. Like I said earlier, I love Tyrese Campbell. I think he will come good again. I just hope he stays here for long enough to come good again, because I think he's a phenomenal talent, and he's still only young. So you forget how young he actually is, because he feels like he's been around forever. I think he's 25 or 26, something like that. Yeah. And I love him to bits. So I still think he's got a big part to play, similar to Danny Ings. I don't want to touch on Danny Ings too much, because we've been going a long time. I've kept you for a long time, Con. But Danny Ings seems like he really needs to pull his socks up, and he's actually not getting that many chances. I think that the Mansfield one was his last big chance. I think now he's going to be lucky to even come off the bench in some games, because he's the fourth choice striker.
Yeah, I agree. And he's another one. When he first come in, he looked like the best striker at the club, in my opinion. He was being lively, he was making the runs, he was trying to make things happen, getting involved with build-up play. But every time he's been involved recently, he's just massively gone off the boil. So I don't know. I don't know whether we're, as striking coaches, are just putting all the work into Cannon and Bamford, because they know that those are going to be the two that we're going to go with for most of the season, and the other two have just been left behind a little bit. But these are these are experienced professionals that know their own body and they know how the game works. It's not like the young kids coming up just out of the academy and they're still learning the trade. Danny Ings has been there, seen it, and done it at every single level. And Tyrese Campbell's been a championship player for the last 5-6 years. He's been here, seen it, and done it for a long time. So I hope to see the best of them, because if we can get that working, where we've got Bamford and Cannon as the starting nines, and then we've got a fit up for it Tyrese Campbell and ready to go Danny Ings coming off the bench, that is going to do some serious damage. So I hope it does click.
Yeah, but it's like Neil Warnock days where, you know, you'd have two strikers up front and you'd have two off the bench chomping at the bit to get on, Pesky Salido and Wayne Allison, quite honestly, quite regularly. And, you know, the two on the bench were quite often the two that weren't, you know, playing as well. And sometimes you would, you know, take off a Saba or whatever, and or not start a Saba and you'd start Pesky Salido instead. And they were all chomping at the bit to try and, you know, get those two spots. But it don't seem like the two on the bench are chomping at the bit, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, so that's our team. I think I'll just quickly run through it, what we've gone with. I think we've agreed on practically every spot other than right back. So Mike Cooper in goal, either Femi Sarike, my choice, or no, not choice, because you want Femi Sarike to play.
Yeah, I want Femi to
you
play.
expect Hoover to play at right back.
Mm-hmm.
Left back, Sam McCallum. Centre backs, Jaffet Tanganga and Tyler Binden. Jaro Riedewald in defensive midfield alongside, I think we went with Dribble Sumare in the end, didn't we?
We did.
And then on the left side, we've gone for, well, I think you said Callum O'Hare and Harmer, didn't you? But then we put Brooks in there, and then we put two strikers in there. So a bit confused.
Well, I'm playing with 12. No,
we should win with 12.
Yeah, I'll go with O'Hare rather than Gus. I'll drop Gus on the bench, even though I do want to see him play. I think if it's between Gus and O'Hare, he's going to choose O'Hare at this point, which is the right decision in my opinion, because O'Hare is the one that you can see being here longer. So.
Yeah, that's true. Andre Brooks on the right, and then two strikers, Patrick Bamford and Tom Cannon. Hopefully, if those are the players selected, they will come to the front and get us those 3 points back and bring them back to Sheffield. So what I wanted to say before we leave, I want to get your score prediction, and I'll give you my score prediction after.
Right, I mentioned bouncing day earlier. I'm going to go for the bouncing day scoreline. I'm going for 2 Blades.
Exciting. That's great. I think it's going to be less exciting, but we seem to score at least 3 goals every game at the moment. But I'm going to go for I'm going to go for a 3-1 win, because we do keep scoring 3 goals. And I like to have 2 clear goals in between us, so there's not that squeaky bum time that we used to have a lot last season. I'll quickly run through all the Sheffield United Way WhatsApp group chat. There we go. Got there in the end. Scott's gone for 2-1 Blades. Brad, who we had on this channel last night, has gone for a 3-1 Blades. Alex, who we had on this channel last night, went for a 5-0 Blades win. Paul, 3-1 Blades. James, 1-1. Greg, 3-1. William, 2-2. Hal of this parish has gone for a 2-1 Blades win. 3-0 for Ewan. 2-1 for your mate and mine, Ian Benson. Ben has gone for a 2-0 Blades win. Mark's gone for a 2-1 Blades win. And Liam's gone for a 2-0 Blades win. So everybody's gone for a Blades win. Well, no, everyone but 2 have gone for a Blades win. No one's gone for a Charlton win, thank God. And there's a couple of draws in there too. So fingers crossed the Blades can go to the Valley and bring those 3 points back. But, you know, these are exciting games. They're very exciting games. We're scoring lots of goals. We're conceding lots of goals, which isn't fantastic. But we're still on this fantastic run. So long may it continue. Thank you very much, Connor, for joining me this evening.
Thank you very much for having me on, mate. Like I said, love being on here.
Good man. I gave you a moment there to kind of like thank me, and you don't need to thank me. I need to thank you for joining us on this channel, because I absolutely love listening to you talk about football and the Blades and chatting as we always do. And we always tend to go really, really over because, you know, we enjoy chatting.
Yeah, we do indeed, mate. I don't mind doing that. If we're booked in for half an hour, 40 minutes, I know I need to put at least an hour in. So,
absolutely. So, yeah, thank you very much, Connor. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And we'll catch up with you, hopefully, after 3 points at the Valley of the Blades.
Ollie, ollie, ollie.